April 2nd, it's World Autism Awareness Day. I have an autistic son. He's actually here with us named Madden, and his superpower is drawing. He loves art. He loves to draw animation characters. And so today's studio is going to be, the art of it is decorated all by Madden. It's all of his drawings, and he just walked into the setup of the studio today, and this was his reaction. This is like him in his truest form. Like his favorite thing in the world is to draw, to create characters, to create animated characters. These are, some of them are probably from a month ago. Some of them are probably from 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's his superpower. It's his favorite thing to do. He's incredibly talented at it. And this was all set up by our director, Tim. It was his idea to pair it with today. In Autism Awareness Day, and these are all of his drawings that he's just drawn. We have boxes full of at our house of these drawings. Some, I think there's some Dude Perfect guys in there. I think that might be Corey or Kobe in the yellows. That's him at the bottom corner. But he's a special dude. There's the Dude Perfect crew right there, and
just
throw his.
Awesome.
Incredible.
So
and
great.
Shout out to you and Tiffany for continuing to encourage who he is and for celebrating all of that.
Yeah, he's the man. He's the man.
Dan, we are going to have this artwork by Madden throughout our show today, so continue to enjoy it because it is truly one of a kind and truly special. And Madden joining us in studio as well throughout.
What an honor. What's up, dude? Say
You're
hi.
on TV, Madden.
You're on TV.
I love it.
He's got more TV presence than his dad.
I know. By the way,
bar.
Field Yates, Jason McCourty here today on a special day, as we've said, and we are going to get to a little bit of NFL news too. We're going to start with this new on NFL Live with Madden's artwork. Trey Hendrickson was on the Pat McAfee show earlier today. Here's what he said.
His communication has been poor over the last couple months. That's something that I hold in high regard. They have not communicated with my agent directly. It's been something that's been a little bit frustrating, but again, this is the business of it. Last year and the year before, I've been talking about long-term contract, guaranteed money, things like that. And it was discussed with me in a meeting, which I'm very fortunate to have had with my agent, that we would get something done this year. So that being said, last year, go out and play to the level you have, we'll get it done. That was communicated with me. So that basically, this year is going to get worked on. They also reiterated that at the Combine. So that just kind of clears the air on that. And moving forward, the happiness of my camp, they are more than welcome to call me. I've had my cell phone, same cell phone number since high school. Open line of communication is always open with me and my agent. So if they have anything they'd like to discuss, we've been nothing but willing to listen.
Okay, so a lot there. J-Mac, what do you make of these comments from Trey?
I mean, well, that was brave to let everyone know he has the same phone number since high school.
So many calls right now.
Old people, old friends, knowing that a deal may happen. Yeah, exactly. I look at this, and this all started with the comments from Katie Blackburn saying that he almost should be happy with where they are. And you think about this, I hate to see negotiations being played out in public. We saw Jerry Jones talk about Micah Parsons. On this topic, be like the married couple. Are you inside, and as soon as you walk out and you go to the party, you act like everything is fine? For Trey Hendrickson, Lord, you've been married for
all the parties.
Well, Josh, he doesn't argue.
He's perfect. It's me.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you're Trey Hendrickson, you're looking at all your buddies getting paid, and you're starting to wonder, hey, you guys could have just told me, like, I'm on deck, and I have no problem being patient. I've done that thus far. But when is it going to happen for me? Because the season's creeping up. Activities are starting to happen, and I want to be the leader, and I want to be the guy that I always say I am. But you told me to perform, and I'd get that contract. I've done that and then some. When is the contract coming?
I mean, it's a horrible look for the organization, and there's two sides to every story. But in Trey Hendrickson's words, in the way that at least I interpreted it is, okay, you guys told me to go do something. I did it 2 years in a row. You told me I would get compensated for that. And now you're telling me a completely different side of the story. And also the lack of communication that he kind of expressed is probably the biggest deal. You guys know this, like communication is a massive deal. He even said it's a big deal to him. And for them to, it seems like, drag their feet, it makes no sense. We all understand it's a business. When you tell an employee, go do this and we will pay you for those services, and you go above and beyond, and then you pretend, at least it sounds like, that wasn't said, that's a bad look for the organization. And it looks like they've told them one thing and doing another.
Phil, you are not going to replace a Trey Hendrickson, right? But who could they look to in the draft if this doesn't get done or something happens here that could at least try to help?
Yeah, I'll get you some names in just a moment. But the hardest part in team building in football is acquiring premier talents. Somewhere below that is extending those players on deals that are commensurate with their pay. They've done the impossible part. Trey Hendrickson was a free agent they signed. You never get players of Trey Hendrickson's caliber through free agency. They nailed it. Find a way to get this done. It has caused way too much strife for a player.
It's not only talent, it's talent and character.
Yeah, and like
high talent, high character guy.
What do you think the rest of the defense, who's like, well, we all stunk last year. That was the one guy who was good. And if he can't get a contract done, what do we have to do to get a deal done when our time comes as well? As far as the draft is concerned, they pick 17th. They obviously have a massive number of defensive needs. Nobody is Trey Hendrickson, but some of the names that might come to mind that I do think will be in the range of 17 when Cincinnati picks includes James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. He ran a 4.47 40 at the combine, very natural, fluid athlete. Not as big and stout against the run as Trey Henderson, but again, nobody is Trey Henderson in this equation. Mike Green from Marshall had 17 sacks last season, most in the entire FBS. Michael Williams from Georgia, another name to know. Guy who's had tons of pedigree since his high school days.
Again, I mean, those are players that have a good future, but just let's get Trey Hendrickson figured out here, okay? You've got him on your team right now. All right, Field's here because, well, we love Field, but also because he dropped his latest mock draft today. Field, give us the top 3 picks of the mock 4.0. Let's start with number 1.
Not a lot of curveballs in this mock, at least not right now, Laura. The Titans make Cam Ward the first overall pick. It feels like if there's one thing we feel really good about in this year's draft, it's Cam Ward being the eventual Titans starter. Dynamic season at Miami, his 3rd separate program at the college level. This guy's got a cannon of an arm, a great innovator, and of course, Tennessee has a razor-thin quarterback depth chart at this moment. All signs point to Cam going to Nashville. The Browns go non-quarterback here. They take Abdul Carter from Penn State, the best pass rusher in this draft. He had 12 last season. To me, it's kind of 1 and 1A. The best player in the draft, in my opinion, is Travis Hunter. But I really can't knock a team that already has Myles Garrett about the idea of putting together what could immediately become one of the league's scariest pass rush duos. And, of course, one of the most premium position in the entire NFL right now. And then finally, the Giants take Shedeur Sanders here at number 3. And this is where things, I think, become a little more complicated. At the end of the day, Laura, I would just say this. You don't plan on being in the 3rd overall pick slot in future years. You don't know exactly what future quarterback classes are going to look like. If you love the player, if you have conviction on the player, you don't let what has taken place so far this offseason, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, deter you from taking Shedeur Sanders, who gives you your best path towards sustained success going forward.
Oh, that number 3 pick is so complicated for so many reasons. I like what you did there. For more on what the Giants may be thinking, what they might do with number 3, here's head coach Brian Daboll. He had this to say earlier in the week at the NFL league meetings.
During your